So the reason we are here today is my gorgeous quilt, my summer quilt that most of you have seen, and we are making this block this evening. Now, I think it's important to remember three things. First of all, when you get your gorgeous pattern, it will look like this. And on this page over here, you will have a series of colors that you need to do. What I always tell people to do is to take a snippet of your fabric and to attach it to here so that you always know what fabrics you're talking to. So on here, we've got bright pink, light pink, pink, and cream. Those are the colors that we're going to be using today for this block. So these are my light pink. This is my cream. We then have the mid pink. So this is going to be my light pink over here, that one there. Then I've got a light pink and I've got my bright pink. Now remember, the bright pink needs to match this color over here. Now, when I've done this before, I've always made it match. And one of the ladies who's made this previously, she didn't make it match. And what she did was, this was the border. This was the color that she used for what is the outer section of this. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Anne. So this was the border. This was the color she used for the outer color. This was the border she used for the inner color. And then, like me, she used this as the light pink. So in the corners, it gradiated like this. Now, I have designed it to go in the same, to be the same. It is your quilt. You do what you want, how you want. Lorraine, it is a busy day, but I am determined I'm going to get these right. So what I wanted to make sure was that you all made your own choices on what works best for you on this quilt. There is no right or wrong. You must do what feels right for you. The only thing I am missing is my cream. I'm going to get my cream. Because I think I should need... Nope, that should be fine. I've got a couple of pieces of cream to go in here. So, as most of you know, I have a bag for every color. Literally every color, I have a bag. And I think it's important that you always put your colors back in the bags, because as and when you are... We all do it. You start a project and you're like, yeah, I'll come back to that. You put it to one side and 10 weeks later, you're like, what was I doing? And then you pull it out and you're like, oh, and you can't remember. But having the bags separate, having everything together makes more sense. So I have these little bags for the pieces that I made. So last month I made this for Natasha. So I made this colorway for the demonstration. I made this color on the demonstration, and then I made this colorway on the show. Gorgeous! So what I've done is I've put them in a little Ziploc bag like this, so that I've always got the fabric that's in there that I've used, and I've just got everything in one place. It just makes life a little easier. You can get these bags very cheaply on Amazon. You can get a bigger bag as well to then slot all 10 envelopes together. Can you see what I'm going to be doing? And because I'm on the show tomorrow, I'm going to put my pattern in. I'm going to put my fabrics in. And that way then I know that all of my pieces are in one section, one place. Okay, there we go. So that's all ready to go. That's what I always do with any of these projects. And then when I get another one of these bags, because I've run out of them, I would then put number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to number 10, all in these little bags, and they would be in this section. This will get quite heavy. If I need 2 of these, I'd get 2 of these. But I always like to have it in one section. Firstly, because when you're in the office and you've got to remember to take it with you to Natasha in the morning, you take it like that. And it's now in the pile to go to Natasha in the morning. Not professional in the slightest. I hear you laughing. And now all I'm doing is when you get your pattern, you're going to have this piece of paper all in one go. If you print it out or whether you get it from Natasha, you will then I'm just trimming off the excess because you don't need all this excess. You don't need all this excess. What you do need to make sure bear with, I'm just cutting this line, that you don't cut anywhere near these lines over here. It's really important that you keep those lines untouched, undamaged, and all ready to go. And this is the block we're going to be making. So I know that's cream, that's cream, that's cream, that's cream, that's cream, that's cream. I know that this is meant to be the same color as my border fabric, this one. But I'm going to do it ever so slightly lighter. I'm just doing it in this way. So I'm having my pink there. And then I know that my grunge is going to be there. And then I know that my light pink is going to be there. So that's going to be my colorway. You can see that's a gorgeous gradation there. And then I know that when I put my border on the outside, that works really beautifully. So it's your call how you do this. That's how I'm doing mine. You can do it how you choose. It's your quilt. So all I'm doing now is just roughly cutting. You can see I'm just roughly cutting little bits of fabric here for the quilt. To make sure that I've got the right pieces in the right place. So that's going to be the outsides there. That's going to be my middle. I need a couple of these for my pink. And that should be fine there. That should be fine there. So there we go. Those are my pinks. And then I need a cream. Cream over there, a cream over there. And I will just then need a cream over there and a cream over there and a cream. So those will be my creams. So I've now got enough fabric. Now you can see these have been in my bag for a little while. I'm just going to take these to the iron and make sure that these are pressed and get them as nice and flat as they can be. Okay, so those pieces are now ready for me to go. And as usual, I'm going to start with number A1 and A2. So A2 will be my light pink. And A1 will be my cream. Now this little piece of fabric here, I've just found in my scrap bundle as it was sitting there. And I'm going to put those two together. I know it'll be all right to go together because I just lift it up and check. And I'm now going to sew down the A1, A2 line. The thread I'm using for this, because many of you have already very kindly purchased the thread box that I designed to go with this quilt, with the Aurifil collection. And I'm using the cream in this section. You can use the cream or the pink. This is the perfect time to use the pink. I'm just starting with the cream and using the cream, and you can choose how you want to do this. So just like we've done in all the FPP we've done in the past, I'm now lining that up. All my threads are going over there. I get my little ruler, 1/4 inch line, and I'm trimming that off all the little excess bits. Let me check I've got you in the, so you can see me pressing as well. So I'm setting my seam and then just rolling that forward. That is number 1 and number 2. Number 3 is this bit at the top here, which is the cream. So I'm folding on the line I'm meant to be stitching on, taking my cream, lining that up, and stitching down the A2, A3 stitch line. Now I'm noticing in my bobbin, I haven't got a huge amount of bobbin left. I'm hoping it's going to last me. If not, we may need to do a little bit of machine maintenance halfway through. So forgive me for that. Now when I stitch this, you'll see that my stitch line, my piece has actually gone a little bit skew. So before I trim or cut anything, I'm folding that back. And yes, that's fine. I've got enough to go with. Sometimes when your piece goes a bit skew like that, you're in a situation where you don't have enough fabric in one corner. So just make sure before you trim anything down, if you have got a section that's gone a bit crooked, just double check that it's going to work, because you don't want to be unpicking if you can avoid it. Right, 1, 2, 3. We're now going to do number 4, which is this section over there. And I know that that's going to be one of my grunge pink lines. So I'm pressing where I've got a stitch, checking if that's going to be wide enough. Oh, it is. Oh, do I want to risk it? No, that is enough. Well, there we go. No, I'm not going to risk it. Don't risk it. If you risk it and you cut the piece too small and it doesn't work, you will be cross with yourself. Okay, that was my number 4 line. So just like before, everything you want to keep, you fold and you put underneath your ruler. You line that up, and that's what you throw away. This is the section here. You then fold that back and give it a good press. And that's number 4. Now number 5 is this little corner over here, in the corner there with a little pop of cream. So I'm going to line that up there, stitch that, press that down, and I'm going to now line up number 5 over here. There we go. Okay, now this little piece I know I'll definitely be able to use again. These little pieces I'm not quite so convinced. Now because I've only done a small triangle, I'm going to press that back. And I know this piece of fabric I won't need again. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just roughly cut this off. And I've got this little piece here that I can use as a scrap on one of the other sections over there. Okay, so that was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now looking for number 6. And number 6 is going on over here, which I know again is going to be my grunge fabric, which is my medium pink. Or pink, I'm sorry, I think it's called pink. I then line this up, knowing that that's got to be right side of this fabric to right side of that fabric. On the seam over there, check I've got enough as a seam allowance. And I do. Oh, ruler fell on the floor, of course it did. And I sew down the 5-6 stitch line. Okay, so just like before, everything you want to keep, you fold down, and everything here you're going to keep, and everything here we're going to cut off. Get your 1/4 inch line on the seam line, and you trim these off there. I do try and keep my fabrics together, separated. It just makes that your life a little easier. Right, that was number 6. That's on nicely there. Now number 7 is this little triangular piece over here. So I'm folding back on the stitch line between 6 and 7. I'm grabbing my little piece of offcut over there, lining it up on the stitch line, to check I've got enough space. And there we go, I do. So now I sew down the 6-7 stitch line. Okay, now everything I want to keep, I'm going to fold down under the ruler. And that piece I know I'm going to keep. And those little bits I know will go over there. And we're almost there. We've only got a few more to go. So I now press that down. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Ooh, almost there. Only 8, 9, 10, and 11 to go. Number 8 is this one down here. So I fold on the line where you'll be joining number 8. I'm using this gorgeous pink fabric over here. I fold that back to check I've got enough, and I do. And I'm now sewing number 8 to all of those sections you've already sewn on. That's number 8 there. So just like we've done previously on many occasions, fold that down. And we then trim off the excess. We're getting quite close to being finished now. It's a nice, quick, easy block, this number 2. Right, and then number 9 is the section up here. That's number 9. And you can see we've stitched that on nicely. Fold down the paper so that we can keep everything on the paper. Everything above the seam allowance is going to go away. Line that up, and you trim those down. That's ready to be pressed back, and there are only 2 more seams to go, and then this block is done. You're going to need to make 4 of these blocks for this quilt. They're going in the corners of your quilts. And we have now done it. So we just need to do a triangle over there and a triangle over there. So this is number 10. We'll start with number 10. Fold on the line. And I'm using a little bit larger piece than I need to. In fact, it is, yep. Go there. Perfect. Trimming off everything that I know I won't use again. And then folding this back, pressing it back. I know that this is excess, so I'm going to just trim down this part of the block because this block is finished on this side. And I try and be as consistent in cutting all of this as I can be. I'll reflect on that when I'm finished in a few moments. Next, we've got number 11 to do. Lining up number 11. So everything I'm getting rid of, fold everything back. And everything I want to get rid of now, I just trim off the border. I'll show you now what I mean. Give me one moment. So you'll see what I've done is I've trimmed off here. So this dark line over there is our stitch line. This little grey line over there is called our seam allowance line. And you can see the gap I've left over here and the gap I've left over here are almost identical. What you're trying to do is to make sure you've got as consistent cutting on these as you can possibly get. You always want it to be as consistent as possible so that when you line these up to other blocks, you've got the same seam allowance all the way along. It just helps to add that extra bit of accuracy and to make sure that everything is as smooth and as simple as it can be. And it just helps make your life that little bit easier being as consistent as you can be. So here we have got block number 2. This is the corners of all of our blocks. Sorry, the corner of all of our quilts. And that is block number 2. Block number 2, as I have said already, goes into the corners of the quilt over here. On mine, I have just made this ever so slightly brighter or lighter than this color over here, like I saw with a friend of mine who'd done the quilt already. And it's just a beautiful, simple, really easy block. And I'm very pleased that you could join me for this. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I will be on Facebook for Natasha Makes. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day 2022. So I hope you're all spoilt rotten by your loved ones. And I hope you get to spoil somebody that you love. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And I hope you'll join me at 10 a.m. tomorrow on Natasha. Otherwise, this is how you make block 2. There are only 8 more tutorials to go. Have a fabulous evening, all of you. Stay safe. Go well. Bye-bye.